self-defense. Today we'd like to talk about some Colt 45, and we've already looked at we'll look at doing some reloading. We've reloaded some shells, and we'll put some of that video up and show how I reload. Now I reload for the cowboy guns. These are the more modern, copies of cowboy guns. This is a U-Birdie, model 1873. It's got a shorter barrel, and I've had this on the channel before. Nice gun, I like it. And but these are the guns that they were shooting from 1873 on. And they, up until, the 1900s, these guns were using black powder cartridges. And so, to be authentic, I like to load them for black powder cartridges. And so that's what we've been doing, and we'll show some of that loading for black powder. And, the 45 Colt is a great caliber to load black powder, well, to load anything. For one thing, the cases are big. They're easy to load, they're big, the bullets are big, 200, 250 grain. It makes it easy, and if you're loading black powder, it makes it really easy because you really can't make a mistake. You can't overload it really. And it is a cool thing. It's historical. So I've got 6 cartridges here that I've reloaded. We'll show them here. This is a reloaded cartridge, and it's got a nice good crimp on it. These cartridges are so large that they really do reload easy, and you can get a nice crimp around the bullet because these case mouths are big. And the 45 Colt really lends itself as a good reloading cartridge. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to shoot them right now. We're going to shoot 6 of them to give you an idea of what they look like, how they shoot, and all the smoke that you get out of it. And this is really, I think this is fun because this is real Old West stuff. This is 1883, cowboy stuff, 1890s. This is the stuff, that they were using. These are the guns and the calibers and things that they used at the Little Bighorn in 1876. So, kind of fun, and we'll get into it right now. And so we'll set up downrange so you can see the hits on the steel plates. I got some steel plates down there and right here on the backyard range. So we'll set that in motion, and then we'll do some shooting. Be right back. Okay, we're back. I'm gonna load up. We're gonna open the loading gate and go to half cock, rotate the cylinder around, and I'm gonna slide 6 big old fat 45 Colt rounds in there. I mark mine on the back with this black magic marker, put an X over the primer. That tells me that's a black powder load. And so here we go. Now, if I was going to be packing this around and, all day, riding the plains or whatever, we're going to ease the hammer down so it doesn't strike the primer. If I were riding the plains all day, I'd load 5, have an empty one under the hammer, but we're not riding the plains. We sort of live on the plains here in the Midwest, but we're just going to turn right around and shoot. So here we go. All right. here we go. Squared up to the target. I'm filming this myself, so I need to keep track of where I'm at. All right, ears in. And here we go. Boom! Look at all that smoke. You see the smoke? You see the smoke on this thing? This is great. This is really great. All right, we're going to shoot one from here so you can get a better idea of the smoke. Here we go. I got these loaded kind of hot, so they're kind of full. They do give you a little recoil. Let's go for one of those little small ones down there. See if we can get a small one. We got it. Of course. Okay, we're looking at the components that we've been using to reload these 45 Colt cartridges. We're using some Pyrodex P, which is the pistol version of Pyrodex, and we're using some 200 grain cast bullets. And of course we have a powder measure, and this is a powder measure that I use for loading other black powder things. I've got it set right now to just over 20 grains of black powder, and probably more like 23, 24 grains. It's just below the 25 mark. And I just load it, use the dipper, use this dipper right here, and I just dip it out, fill it up here in the powder measure, and then I pour it into the cartridge. And there's a cartridge that's already got the powder poured into it. You can see that right there. And let's get it to focus. You can see the powder had already been poured in there. Now it needs to have some room left, and the way that I measured that was I took the wads that I'm using for lubrication, which are right here, and these are these wads right here. These Oxy-Yoke Original Revolver Wonder Seals. These are for 44 caliber. They're nice because they're black powder lube, and they are already sized, and they fit nicely right down inside of this 44 caliber or 45 caliber cartridge. Okay, now I'm also using some cards. So these are just old paper plate that I punched out, and you can see the paper plate right here that I used to make them. It's just a cheap paper plate, but the cardboard on it is kind of got a coating on it. It doesn't allow moisture to soak through, so it won't allow the powder to get damaged or anything if these melt or if they touch the powder. And so I just use that as a protection over the powder, and I punch them out with just a regular set of punches. It's just a set of punches, you know, that I got at Harbor Freight, and you use that to punch these out. You find one that's the right size, you punch them out. So now that I've got these filled with about 23 or 24 grains of powder, I'm going to take the card and I'm going to drop it right down in there. Now I already measured the depth I need on this pencil, and so the depth I need on this pencil is the depth that the bullet's going to be seated, which, as you can see, is that much. And then you put one of these wads behind it, and you can see right there that I've measured that much from where the bullet's going to seat and crimp to the bottom of where that wad is, and that's the mark I put on the pencil. That is what I use to measure how much powder goes in these cartridges. So I filled the cartridge with powder, I put the measure down inside of there, and you can see that gives me a good indication that I've got the right amount. Now I want to keep this excuse me, I want to keep this powder compressed, so I want to make sure the powder is as full as it can get when I load the bullet on it. Okay, so we've loaded the wad, or, well, it's not really a wad, it's a card. It's like a shot card, and I put it on there and I poke it down, and what I'm doing is compressing the powder. Okay, I'm going to change hands here. I'm going to use this to compress the powder. So the powder is compressed and the card is sitting flat. Then we're going to drop the lubrication on there like that. Press it down. Don't have to press tight. And then we're going to take the bullet. Now these bullets, these are not bullets for black powder, and so I pulled out the lube that was in this lube groove here. This was a regular regular powder, modern powder bullet. So I pulled the lube out of the lube groove, and I'm going to put some black powder lube in it, just a little bit around there. And then when I've got that filled, then I'm going to take it and I'm going to drop it right on top, put it in. I'm going to take it over to the press, and I'm going to press the bullet in. So we'll lube that up right now, and then we'll put it in the press, and you can see how that works. Okay, the lube that we're going to use to lube the grooves in these bullets is this combination of, this is a beeswax, I think, and tallow, maybe. Anyway, here's the box. This is what it came in. It's a bullet lubricant for black powder, and it's in a hard box, and so you can see it's right there. So I'll just take some and scrape off the top. I'll scrape some off the top, get some on my knife, and then I'll work it into the lube grooves. And because these are not black powder bullets, there's not much of a lube groove, so I don't have to put too much in. But this oxy yoke lube is going to help, and that's going to make up the difference. So that's the way we're going to do it. So here we go. So there's the bullet. We put the lube in there. We lube it up. I'm going to have to use two hands to do this, obviously, but you get the idea. You use this lube in that little groove. Now, if you buy regular black powder bullets, they'll have a much bigger, a much deeper lube groove in there. and the lube groove will be much bigger. You'll be able to get much more lube into it than you do with this. But again, I'm adding quite a bit of lube with these Oxy Oak black powder lube. So that's how we're handling that. It's just easier. I buy one kind of bullets because I shoot both smokeless powder and black powder. And you know, I don't need to be buying 500 of two different kinds of bullets. So I buy one kind and I just lube one more than the other. So okay, there's the bullet. You can see that there's lube in the lube grooves now, and they're not very deep lube grooves. lube grooves, so you're not going to get a ton in there, but there's some. And I had to take these bullets came with already lubed, so I had to scrape the old ones out so that the lube grooves were open. But you know, for the amount of black powder cartridges I make, it's okay. I'm willing to do that. Now I'm going to take this lubed bullet and we're going to sit it right down in that case, right there. We're going to take it over to the press, and we're going to put it into the press, and we're going to load it. And there you go. There you go. It's right up to the bottom of the crimp groove, and it's seated right down in that cartridge. So it's in the crimp groove right there. That's the crimp groove, and it's crimped there in the groove, and we're good to go. So that's it. And that's a quick and dirty way that I load these black powder cartridges. I shoot them in my my reproduction. I got several reproduction 45 Colt 6 guns, and I shoot them in that. And I don't make these for rifle. I do not have a 45 Colt. Now, of course, these are large primers. And then I mark them. When we're done, I put an X on the bottom, and you can see on these ones that I've already loaded, I put an X on the back of the cartridges that are black powder, and the ones that are not black powder do not get the X. So these are black powder, these are not. So that's how I mark the difference between them. And then we go out and have fun shooting them. So there you go. Oh, hit. Let's go for a little one. Ah, hit. Flipped it around. Let's go for another little one. Oh, oh man. It's really kind of the smoke. It's, you know, that sulfur smoke. I can smell the sulfur, the gunpowder. I can smell the lubricant I use. That's great. You know, you can imagine what a gunfight would have been like in those days. Nothing but smoke, and boy, it makes the gun hot. She is hot, 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 hot. So let's get all these out. All right, there we go. We are done. Whoop, dropped one. We are done. There's the brass. And that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And now I got some more I can reload and come out and shoot. But it is, that's the way it would have been in 1873 through, oh, you know, early 1900s before they started putting smokeless powder in them. And the old guns, the frames were not as made for as much pressure. They were made for black powder, and so if you've got a really old one, an original, an antique, you can't shoot modern powder bullets in it. You got to shoot black powder reloads in it. The modern guns, of course, are made with better steel, and you can shoot anything in them. But if you got an old one made in the 1800s, it's probably a black powder frame. So do not shoot. Don't go down to the store and buy some 45 Colt off the shelf store-bought ammo and try to shoot it in there, because you could damage your gun. So anyway, it's pretty cool. I like it. It's a lot of fun. I really encourage you to shoot the old guns. It's fun. You know, you feel like Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, you know, whatever. And I like it. It's just a lot of fun. It's interesting. And then if you're reloading, you can reload with black powder. Now you can use actual black powder, or you can use the substitutes, Pyrodex or something like that. And actually that's what I use, a little Pyrodex. It's cheaper, one thing, and you can get it without having to get a big hazmat fee, courtesy of our friends at the ATF and all the other jackasses that they've got in the government. But anyway, a lot of fun. I encourage you to do it. Thanks for watching. Please go subscribe so that one of these days I can get remonetized on YouTube. It says YouTube demonetized all of us. I just do this for fun anymore. Don't make any money on it, but it's fun. Please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it, and we will see you later. Thanks.